shit. Wait, they're gonna fuck up. I have to take it off.
What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on another Daily Smoke. I'm your boy, Brother Jam.
Brother Los.
Brother Ron.
Brother Blackhead.
And we are the Daily Smoke. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Man, it's been a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Glad to be here.
Sir.
Should be an interesting conversation.
Indeed.
How y'all doing, brother?
Good.
I'm always good. You know, we had a good weekend. You know, we had started off Friday with TGIF, so that's always fun.
Yeah, right.
We just let the weekend go through. I chilled yesterday. I didn't do shit.
Me and Bobby got to go see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness
Right.
Saturday. Man, I'm telling you, okay, we got a smoke session coming up where we talk about it. I'll give you the full rundown. I believe that's going to be airing June 16th. So tune in for that one if you're interested to hear what we thought about it. And leave us your comments and let us know what you think about that one. But yeah, don't forget about them smoke sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Not just that one.
And the TGIF on Fridays.
And Friday with us here, you know. But yeah, don't just go watch Doctor Strange. Watch all of them. Till we get up there. Watch all of them, you know, till we get up there.
Yeah, please go back and watch as many of them as you can.
Right.
You ain't doing nothing but cleaning up the house. Listen to that. Put the Daily Smoke on and just keep us on in the background.
Tell them where they can see what's going on.
If y'all interested in knowing what's coming up with the Daily Smoke, please check out our website, www.thedailysmoke.com. That's THA dailysmoke.com. And if you want to donate,
Peace.
please
Yes.
hit up the Cash App, $TD Smoke. So please check that out. And hey, we appreciate anything. And at the same time, if you might not be able to donate, hey, we know times is tough. Hit that like button, hit the share, and hit the subscribe, y'all, if you haven't already. Because every little bit helps us. That's almost as good as a donation in our book. You know what I'm saying?
Lavelle, what's up, brother
What's up,
Lavelle?
Oh,
Dadcast.
we got the Dadcat podcast in the house.
We got a special guest coming in on Wednesday. Angel Burns, to be free is to be true, and to be true is to be free apparel.
Right.
So we'll be looking forward to that. So that's going to be a very exciting episode as well. So you guys come out if you can on Wednesday. Sign in at 7 o'clock. We're going to have a really good show for you. She's an awesome individual. We're going to have her in remotely. So come out and show your support. We really would appreciate it.
Go to the website. You'll see everything we're doing there. All upcoming events.
What's up, Hood Nessa? How you doing?
Hood Nessa with us.
Hood Nessa in the
What's up,
house.
D? You know, it's always nice to see that they're here with us all the time.
Yeah.
Thank you all for always being here with us. Because that's
Sure.
like we say, it's all about you. So if you're here, that means we're doing our thing.
Thank
You
you.
know?
Okay.
Mama, what's up, Mama?
Oh, Mama Joyce in the house.
Yeah, Josh.
All right, question. Have either of y'all ever looked into anything about speculative evolution?
I mean,
Really? Okay. So, you know how, I'm sure you've heard of like those alternate history stories, like Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer, that whole kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Where you take real history, but you change it a little bit.
Okay.
I stumbled across a few videos on YouTube over the weekend, and they were both about speculative evolution. And what that is proposing what evolution might do to existing creatures, or even in some cases setting the alien planet, setting the gravity, setting the parameters of that world, and then what might life look like under those conditions. So it's one of those kind of topics where it deals with a lot of creative science, because you're taking what we know about how genetics work, but you're just applying it to fictional situations.
So like for us, they do future us, or like what it could. Okay, so not from where we are to where we're going,
and then,
not what we could have started as. Something.
The two videos that I watched both dealt with humanity specifically, and it was messed up in both cases because they were two different storylines. One was where an AI took over the world that we set up, and then the AI basically became like a hive mind for us, and it used us as workers, and we were completely genetically modified, no free will, no nothing.
Right. Before we move on, that's my brother Rick. For coming
What's
on,
up,
man.
Rick?
Thank you so much, man. His birthday's tomorrow, matter of fact.
Oh, that's what's up.
Me and him are like, I was born on the 17th in 65, and he was we're the same people, man.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah,
he'd be
really
quick to whoop your ass. I'm like, man, fuck that, let's go. But yeah, no, we're pretty much the same people, man. That's why we met on the train going to work every morning.
For real.
We'd sit over there, I'd sit over here.
What
Some
country?
no, this is in Pittsburgh.
Oh, it's
You know, some babe would come on after she'd get off. We'd look at each other like, yeah, okay. And then one day we just start talking. And now I've known the brother since, man, years, 20, 30 years. He's like I am with you guys. That's my brother right there.
what's up.
Okay.
So, man, appreciate you here, man. Shit, I hope you like it. Like I said, get that D.C., Maryland area to know the Daily Smoke and come check us out, man. Appreciate you, brother. And happy birthday tomorrow, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Birthday,
and,
bro.
and brother Rico, if you ever in the Houston area, man, please stop by for
Yeah,
sure.
I've been trying to get him down here for like 20 years, man. I can't get him to come down here, man. But he gonna come, man. There's a lot of shit going on in our lives. We haven't seen each other in at least, what, 15?
Really?
15, maybe. I've been here 12, at least that long.
Really?
Yeah, we have not been able to get he moved on to, he's in Maryland. He's an inspector, buildings and shit. And I came down here and we keep in touch, but we just haven't been able to see each other. But that's coming, man. We're going to see each other soon, but we have to, man. So, if anything, in 3 years, on our 60th, we got to see each other then and shit. Just come to Puerto Rico, because that's where I'll be.
Y'all gonna run through with each other, y'all.
You know what I'm saying? No.
All slow motion.
You know what I'm saying?
Ball head glistening in the sun.
Start going in a circle.
I might as well bring flowers in it. It's going to be like that.
got a rose in his mouth.
Yeah. But hey, that's how we fuck around. Man. You'll get used to it if you keep watching us. But anyway, man, appreciate you being here, man. And
Definitely.
happy birthday to you tomorrow, brother. Yeah, that was cool. New subscriber, keep moving.
Look forward to it. Yeah, man.
How about you, Blackhead? What you
Yeah.
do this weekend?
Other than watch multiple plans, shit.
He did shit, so he sat around here shit all day long for 2 days.
I've been on that PS5.
One thing that I saw that was interesting earlier today, man. Okay, remember when we was talking about the Uvalde shooting? And I was telling y'all about the mom who ran in and got her kids. So that chick has actually done a few interviews now.
Okay.
Now, when I tell you, this pissed me off more than anything I've heard about this entire. I mean, don't get me wrong, and parts of this, whole scenario have made me angry. But her story. So she arrived. She pulls up to the school. She had driven from about 40 miles away, and from her job to get there once she heard what was going on. She pulls up to the school so close that basically the cops, from the minute she pulls up, tell her, you need to move or we're going to arrest you. She's like, I don't care what you do, but I'm finna go in here and get my kids. Y'all are standing around out here. I'm finna go get my kids. So then they arrest her, put her in handcuffs, put her in one of the cars. She convinces one of the local cops, because I think this was the Border Patrol people who did that, but then she convinced one of the local cops to let her go. The minute they took the handcuffs off her, she beelined to the building, got her kids, and cops was even trying to stop her once she got into the building, because the what do you call them, the district cops, I forgot what they were called, but they were like, some of them had tried to stop her inside the building. She was like, I'm not asking y'all for help, I'm not asking you for protection, I don't need nobody to go with me, but I'm going in here to get my kids. And she did come out with her 2 kids, and so they made it out safely. The killer part is after everything was said and done, because she was on probation from a previous charge, something like 10 years ago she did. The cops basically threatened her and told her, if you talk to the public or talk to the news about what happened or what we did to you, we're gonna make you come up on a violation on your probation. But then she finally got a chance to go in front of the judge for something. I forgot what she was wanting. And the judge was like, no. As a matter of fact, we're going to reduce your sentence because you acted heroically.
Yeah, them motherfuckers didn't do shit. They was sitting out there, listen.
And now that's just another thing that they investigating those cops for. These cops in Uvalde, man, was running wild.
It's that the main dude that told him not to. Like, why? You know?
When the cops were first formed, LAPD, I looked up years ago. So if I'm wrong on some of the facts, forgive me. But the sum of it is accurate. The way the police force came about in America, specifically in California, was the newspapers was coming out, and you had a lot of organized crime out there. And this is like in the early days before Hollywood is even like really Hollywood. And what they did was
just after horses and shit.
I mean, like not too much longer afterwards. Not too much longer afterwards. And what they did was they structured the police force. The police force wasn't a function of the city. It was a function of private individuals with money.
Right.
And so what they would do is you had small groups of people here and there, mafia members. And when I say mafia, I'm not talking about like Al Capone. I'm talking about people with money that doing, you know.
Had their own organized shit.
Exactly.
Right.
They would have their own groups. And so what they did was they said, look, we're going to have the LA Times, and sometimes we're going to have issues with people that disagree with some of the publications we have. So anyone that dissent against the LA Times or the newspaper that we put out, then we're going to have this gang of individuals called the police, and they're going to enforce, you know, what we put out in these publications or what have you. And that set the template for police for, you know,
The city would take it
exactly.
Right.
So if you look at that kind of thinking, it still translates over to this day, man.
And
It's the
if
same
you
way.
remember from the last time, I think when we were talking about the shooting, I mentioned that there's been Supreme Court cases that prove that the police don't have a responsibility to protect and
Sure did
serve.
say that.
Yeah, that's not their job.
Right.
Their job is to protect property and to solve crimes after the fact. That's what they're supposed to do. But as far as putting themselves in danger to save you or me, that's not a definition. Like the protect and serve thing is the
Yeah.
slogan.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That just looked cool on the car.
yeah. That's what's
You
up.
would think though, I'm a cop. What I'm supposed to do? Go in buildings, chasing motherfuckers, killing kids? That's my job. I gotta get this dude out of here. You know, but then they listen to their chief. The chief was the one that kept telling them no. So I guess it must have been like you said, running wild, or they knew, man, if I fuck around, I'm gonna be done. So I'm listening to the chief.
The thing about it is that police chief, though, I think he just flat out didn't care. Because if you remember, he had won an election a couple of weeks before that. So he was leaving that position.
Mm,
I don't think he thought it was maybe like it was going to be like a big deal.
mhm.
And so that's why because they say it recently came out, they said he didn't even have his police radio on him.
Wow, he was done.
Right. So he was like out of the loop when the shit started going down. And I honestly believe that he really was just like, oh, it's just going to be some, they'll get him, you know, like
Right.
whatever.
Either that, or I'm not gonna have a bunch of cops die during my last term, my last few months.
My
as
last few
chief.
days, yeah.
You know, fuck that.
That's
Yeah,
rough.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
That was rough.
But yeah, man. That, like I said, that story just, man.
That's crazy. Oh well, hey, at least the judge knew better. Hey, I'm not charging you with shit. You went and got your kids.
Exactly, right?
You did more than they did. Go on, thank you. You know, so I did the same thing.
There's no black person couldn't do that. No black woman.
Yeah, right.
It'll beat her on the way into the doggone school.
She was Hispanic.
They would have never let her out
Oh,
of the car.
she got real lucky.
She was
They-
she
got
was
in.
not finna she was not finna be deterred.
She got it on the bell curve.
Yeah, well, the whole town is Hispanic.
She was a fairly light skinned Hispanic, so they might not have been sure.
yeah.
They might not have been sure.
Just in
Yeah,
case.
They were like,
pretty-
she could be a
girl
white
with
woman.
tan.
No, she couldn't have been white because if she was, they would have went in to protect her. Let's go.
Right. Oh, right, right,
Escorted her
right.
in.
Yeah, SWAT team with everybody doing maneuver.
Right?
Set up before we get
They
killed.
call them the National Guard.
You know, man, speaking of judges and everything, tonight, brothers, we got a very, very, very important topic to discuss.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry if I'm not able to add too much to it tonight. I'm just really tired, to be honest with you. But I did have a chance to interview a couple of people because the subject is divorce and the effects of divorce upon the individual. how do we manage divorce? How do we deal with the emotions? How does it affect us? How does it affect men? How does it affect women? How does it affect you know, well, I wouldn't say children. I think right now we're just basically concentrating on the two individuals involved in this, this relationship. So really, oh my bad, there you go. So really, we hope you guys call in and look at the number at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
We would love to hear your take on it. And the only reason we even came to this subject
I was gonna say.
was because an individual had contacted us and said, hey, I'm currently going through something like this, and I would like to know what are other people's thoughts on it.
So this was a viewer that,
Yes, it was a
that
viewer.
someone, a subscriber that
Yes.
asked for this
Yes,
topic.
specifically, yes.
And she
What we want.
specifically wanted a male perspective, right?
She did. She
And
wanted
we
a male
got two right
perspective.
here.
Yeah, she wanted a male perspective. And also, in addition to that, this was not this individual's first divorce. This was multiple divorces.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
that's also a point that I hope we get a chance to explore. So I'm gonna let you guys run with it. What are y'all,
You
what are y'all
know,
thoughts?
when you say multiple divorces, when I looked up some stuff, is that your numbers are higher. You have almost 85% chance that the more times you marry, you're going to, of course, you're married a whole bunch of times, but multiple marriages do lead into divorce. There's a lot of different numbers about that.
Really?
I mean, I had looked up a lot of different stuff that they talked about. Right now, it's 2.9 per every 1,000 divorce. That's the rate that they're given. And I got this from, I forget where it was. It was actually legaljobs.com or some shit like that. They had a report about this. Some lady, her name, I forget her name. But she looked it up, and that's what she was saying, that, that's what it is right now, 2.9
Per 1,000?
per 1,000.
It's almost 3 people for every 1,000.
The third most country in the world. I forget what the Maldives and somebody else were before it.
Really?
More rates of divorce in those countries. I think they were saying, and what she had said though, like you said, multiple marriages lead to that. Cohabitation actually is not bad, but to get a man who cohabitates with his partner is 45% less likely to get divorced in 20 years. Of that number, 43 for women. So that's what they're saying. Divorce has gone. It's been on the decline since 2019.
Really?
But from 1960 to 2019, it had increased. It was going up real fast. A lot of people get divorced.
Yeah.
And it was until and then 2019 was actually 1990 is when they started to change. But there's a lot of different numbers. What is it? Arkansas, the state with the most divorces, 19.some%.
Really?
Divorce. Arkansas, New York State was the least one.
I was gonna make a real bad joke about Arkansas, but I'm not gonna do that.
Everybody from Arkansas watching.
And you never know. They won't come from Arkansas.
That's because they make you divorce your cousins.
I thought from Alabama.
You know what I'm saying? They're one of the numbers up there too. It almost seems like a lot of the southern states in the middle, like in the Bible Belt, are at the higher peak of that. And that could be because maybe, some are, because, you're not supposed to get divorced, but you're forced into marriage. So it eventually does not work. I think right now, 8.2 years is the average marriage. Is what
Wow,
it's at. 8
really?
years. Yeah, 8 years of marriage.
8.2.
8.2,
Wow.
yeah, that's that. Yeah, no, it's a lot of. I mean, they have a lot of numbers about it.
Oh yeah.
The differences, and they only. I mean, when you think about it, okay, so 700 what was it, in 2017, 780,000 people got divorced, and it was 700 and some cases, which came up to 1.5 million people.
Wow.
That ain't shit.
Out of 300 million, huh?
That ain't
Right.
shit. That's why it's only 2.9%. So.
And one of the things that I was seeing was that really they kind of anticipate that the divorce rate is going to go down, but you're probably also going to see a decline in marriage rates as well. But that being said, you'll see a decline for the people who do get married. You'll see a decline in divorce rates because this generation is more careful. They don't feel the pressure to get married, say like people from our generation did. openly admit part of the reason why I got married so young was because I was like, okay, I'm grown, I'm out the house, and now you're supposed to get married. You know, that was just part of the reasoning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, that may not be everybody's situation, but I know a lot of folks from our generation and back, they got married not because they was really like in love. It was just because that's what you were supposed to do.
That's true.
Somebody came along who was at least decent, and you could get with them. Hey, go for it.
That's true.
You know, but now that pressure to stay married, that pressure, that what is it? The shame, the what's the word I'm trying to think of? The stigma. That's the word I'm trying to think of. The stigma that used to exist with divorce is no longer really a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Used to be, oh, you were a woman and you know, you've been divorced.
I got a phone ringing.
Yes, sir.
We got a caller. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, Rashida.
We got a caller. Hello, caller.
Yeah.
Yo, hey, how's it going? All right, hang on a minute. Let me put you up. Let me get you. Let me put you up to the mic. Step up to the mic. Thank you for calling. Who we got?
You're welcome. So, I am going to be supposed to be anonymous, and the only reason why, because I want to protect the other person. Hopefully, you guys understand that. Is that okay?
Can,
Yes, that's fine.
Can they hear?
Oh.
If you can, speak a little bit louder.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Oh shit.
No.
You try to turn off the. It was all the way up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Great. Okay. So I am actually the one who brought this topic to Brother Ron. And it's because I am currently going through my third divorce.
Okay.
And so what I can say is now that I have evolved, because as you grow, of course, you have to evolve and evolve in my thinking and things like that. What I find is that it's kind of harder to stay in those relationships where the other person is not on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been my experience.
And
I never
that's
set
the
out
number
to
one
be
reason.
married.
Incompatibility.
Yeah, that's the number one reason, right?
Incompatibility is the number one reason
Yeah.
people get divorced.
What
Right.
changed?
I never set out to get married 3 times. That wasn't in my plan. But I do know that as women, we have this romanticism that we're taught early on, even from a young girl. And so that is to, that our clock is ticking. We have to find that man. We have to get that home. We have to have those children.
Mm-hmm.
And then a man is taught the exact difference. A man is taught to sow his royal oath and things like that. So, which is a huge disparity, between the two. So what I have found in my situation is that romanticism and thinking that, you need a husband or you're not normal, it's those social norms that come up. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so I found myself in 3 different marriages.
Mm-hmm.
One early on, in my early 20s, another in my 30s, and then another in my 40s. And this one is ending. Now, I will have to say there's some accountability there as a woman. And one of those things is, for me, operating in my, I would say, masculine energy. I'm a Scorpio, so Scorpio women tend to kind of operate in that masculine energy, and there's a fine, balance between that masculine and feminine. So those are the things that I can hold myself accountable for. Now, I have to say, as I mentioned earlier about the age. So in your 20s, you have a whole different way of thinking. In your 30s, you may have a different way of thinking. And your 40s is totally different. And so with each of those phases that I've been through, my mindset has changed. And therefore, the person that, I may be married to at that time, maybe they're not growing or evolving in the same mindset. It doesn't make me better or them worse. It's just people change. People change. Now, what I do have a question for you fellas is, I have a question is, as you change, are you supposed to, is a norm, stick with your mate, through that change? And if they're not growing with you, how would you handle that as from a man's point of view?
Okay.
Well, look at me.
I can't. I don't think I can comment on that because I haven't gone through anything like that. Where it was my first marriage when I was 20-something years old. We got married after we met, then kind of fell in love, had kids, and then it just didn't work. And then I went until I'm married now. So I don't know there was nothing to change. My first one was just, woohoo, like we went to Vegas, got married. Actually, we went to Denmark, got married and shit, and got together.
Married in Denmark?
I got married in Denmark, And then we came back to Germany and lived a few years, had a child, came back to the States, and we realized that incompatibility shit. What? I can't do this bitch no more. I'm done.
Right.
But I got a kid now, so I can't comment on the change because now I can't say with my second marriage with Amy, there's nothing for me to change because I've told her who I am.
Right.
There's no change. I will adapt with the situation as we go.
Right.
But there's nothing I'm going to change about who I am at all. Because I'm already way past that. It's too late for me to start changing.
that is part of the benefit of being older.
Right.
When you get married.
Right.
Yeah. Because like you, I got married. I was in my. I wouldn't even.
Thank you, Carl. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for even bringing the topic to us.
But we'll definitely finish that answer. But I got married in my 20s, and me and my ex-wife, we really thought we was in love, but we got married in less than a year.
We 3 months later.
Yeah, we met. I think it was like September of one year. We were married by July of the next. So we hadn't even really known each other a year. We didn't give that enough time to actually.
June, got married in November.
See, okay, so
My first marriage was about money.
But see,
married backwards. I married for money first, and then for love.
Back.
See if he was answering. She's calling back. Hang on, caller.
I'll take it.
Hopefully we're trying to answer your question. And like I said, I can't. There was nothing about change for me. It's like we met each other, we had a good time, everything was fun.
Hello?
But then after a while, we realized that it don't work. So we went ahead our ways. But and then my second marriage now, I'm not changing anything. But this is me. If you don't like me, fuck on.
Well, and I was gonna say that me and my ex-wife, we both were very young and very inexperienced in life, and so we did do some growing and change. We were married for 14 years.
Whoa!
So we did do some growing and changing together, and that's really what led us to divorce. Is that we grew apart. Not that I don't hate her, she doesn't hate me. It was never an animosity type of situation. We just realized at a certain point, it's like, okay, you want things, or your goals, your desires, whatever it is, are not matching up with mine anymore. At one point they did, but by the time we got mid-30s, I was probably about 34, 35, and by that point, the relationship was pretty much done. It was just, facing the reality of it, which is what I had an issue with. So I was the one who didn't want the divorce in the first place, even though I knew damn well it was over. So yeah, but I fought against it. But at the same time, we
That's because of that mentality. I'm supposed to get married, have a family. This is supposed to
and I was a hardcore. I'm only getting married once. I'm only ever doing this once, and when I get married, it's gonna be for life. I was hardcore. So for me to have to deal with a divorce situation, I was just like, no, that can't be me.
Right.
Not me.
No,
not the kid.
Right.
that I need this shit.
Right. So the growth factor in that situation for me really was we didn't give ourselves enough time to learn each other and to be able to even make accurate predictions about where each other might grow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, some of it is guesswork. I mean, that's human nature. But when you're looking at that potential partner, you have to give it enough time, in my opinion, to be able to see where that person might go, and decide early on, am I okay with that? And then you go from there. But if you can't grow in the same direction, if y'all are moving just opposite ends of the spectrum, there's no way it can work. Not unless y'all have one of those arrangements where, like, you live on the West Coast, she live on the East Coast, and y'all just meet up on holidays.
I'm good.
But that's some of the statistics, the stats that they talked about was 18 to 25, and you get married within there, you don't last but about 10 years because you start to change.
So 10 years is the average?
30s, yeah.
Okay.
And then it moves up from 25 to 30. It goes a little longer. And the older you get, the longer the marriages is. But today now, they call it the grade divorces. Those are going up.
Oh yeah, because you got a lot of boomers who've been married for years to people that they don't really love anymore, or whatever the situation may be.
Plus Viagra and shit, making this old man feel like, I keep that little thing right there.
Caller, let me ask you a question. Did you have another question you want to ask us? I hope we answered that question. I don't think we did, but
Yeah, you guys did answer that question.
okay, thank you.
I mean, for me, because if somebody's looking from the outside and the inside, they'll be like, oh my God, she's getting a divorce again,
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's, I'm learning another lesson, I think. And, because this is life school, we have to learn the lessons. And it's actually just taken me 3 times to learn that lesson. But at least I'm not, Elizabeth Taylor or Zsa Zsa Gabor. But if somebody was looking from the outside in, the way we idolize marriage and divorce, it would be like, oh my God, how horrible. Why is this happening? It's something must be wrong with her, or something that must be wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and for me, I'm thinking of, oh my God, I'm free. I'm free and I'm happy. So that may make it strange for some people. Now, am I going to get married again? I don't know. I can't say that. I'm not running to get married, and this time I know that I really need to, just sit with myself so I can better understand what it is that, I want out of life. And then, also I would make sure, like the brother said earlier, you have to really get to know people, because the person, when you first meet a person and, you tell that person what you want and you tell that person what you're about, that person, because I've done it. I've done it to men, actually. But that person can look at you and take that on, even if though it's something that they may not even be interested in. They will pretend, that they like the same things that you like, that, they're evolving just like you, but they may not even agree with anything that you're about, but it's just, I would take time to get to know someone. Do I feel sorry for myself? No, I don't. I honestly don't. I think it was just a lesson for everybody that has been, that's in the situation. But I will love as long as I need to, as many times as I need to. I feel like that, and that's what we're here for. So I'm not telling anybody to go out there and just be getting married, blindly and things like that. I'm just saying, the stigma of divorce, I believe that has to change, because we may not love each other forever, for some people the goal is 60 years, but I am not going to, lose my peace and my sanity just to ride or die with you for 60 years.
Now, I would push back on that because I do believe that the stigma for divorce is going away. I don't think and in some circles that may not be as true as in others. I can definitely acknowledge that, but I think overall, because divorce has become so commonplace or been such a commonplace thing for so long, you really can't hold a person. You can't hold it against a person that they've been divorced. All of us are probably children of divorced parents, or we've been divorced ourselves, or you've got brothers or sisters or something like that who've been divorced as well. So you can't hold. It's real difficult to hold that up as some kind of moral high horse nowadays.
Yeah, they said on the thing that if you have friends that are divorcees, you may just be one yourself too.
Lord.
Damn.
That was one of the stats. That if you have friends of children that are of divorced parents, they will probably go through a divorce too. So, like you said, I agree. It's almost as if it's no big deal. Plus nowadays, like you said, the millennials, they're like, we'll just live together for a little while.
Right.
And they live together for 20, 30 years. They'll stay together for that long.
But they'll do that. But they'll wind up working out a lot better than we did on our first go around, just because they took the time to actually figure out, do I really want to be around you for the next 20, 30 years?
Right. I mean, that's what me and Amy, in my second marriage now, we have, you ain't gonna find no bones in my closet. She won't, because we know everything about each other, and I made her wait almost 6 years to get married, because when we met, she wanted to get married, but I said, well, look, let's get married on the same day that we met, the 14th of April, on a Saturday, so it's going to be 6 years before that date comes up on a Saturday, and she waited to combine the two households into one, so by the time we did get married, we were just one now, and it's been working ever since. I'm happy as fuck.
But again, you took that time to really get to know each other before y'all made the commitment. Right. So, I think Vanessa said the same thing, is that's really the advantage of being older. For me anyway, it's made me realize, I'm single now. So when I think about dating, when I think about whether or not I would want to get married, some point down the line, I have to take those things into consideration, because I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm 47, but at the same time, if I was to get married again, I
had never said, back after I got divorced the first time, I never said I would never get married.
Right.
It's just, hey, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Pretty much.
Hey, man, good news, caller. Vanessa Boland, she has a workshop coming up. It's an emotional wellness shop coming up. And how do we pronounce those workshops?
Kujijagalia.
Thank you. And she stated that she wants to gift you a ticket to go to the workshop free of charge. Those tickets usually run about $30, I think, a piece, between 20 and 30, and they are very, very well worth it.
They sell out quick.
They sell out quick, so I would say I think that's a gift. I think you should take advantage of, and I think you really would enjoy it. Plus, you'll be able to chill with us, man, for the night.
We'll be there.
Yeah,
come hang out with us.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. I will do. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
In contact,
Absolutely, we'll get you guys in contact.
Yeah, that'll be great. And these things, like I said, we went to the last one, and what happened there, it almost seemed like all the people there was supposed to be there.
Yeah, it was. I hate to use the word flippantly, but the word magical almost applies.
Hey, Bob.
Oh,
Magical
cool.
tears was just flowing.
Here they
I'll
go.
be a river, boy.
Oh man, get used to it.
Thank you so much, caller. Thank you. We got other callers, I think, trying to call in. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank
we
you so
appreciate
much,
you.
yeah.
And thank you for this idea. Thank you.
That's interesting.
A lot of relationships and marriages have one common failing, but forget to get back to dating each other as friends, like when they first met. Just an opinion.
That makes sense because you do at first. You know how at first you're like, woohoo, you're floating, everything is good. Then you just start to chill and you forget, but you still love each other.
Right.
But you forget to go do those things you did when you first met, made you fall in love with each other. So I guess sometimes you tend to forget and it starts to fade, and that's why you're like, yeah, I don't want to be with you that way. I'm out. Like you bored. Kids is all gone. I'm out. Stay here.
See, that's my issue. Joyce Horton West says, I agree. But the issue is when the romance ends, so does the marriage. So my only contribution to this conversation is I studied the differences between arranged marriages and marriages for romance or for love. And marrying for love is only maybe 180 years old
Right.
in the course of human history. And that's a very short time span.
Mm-hmm.
And they found out that marriages that are arranged usually are more successful. Marriages between same sexes are more successful. And they found out that the reason for these marriages that are successful, they have commonality, which is you don't start from necessarily romance. You're involved in an obligation. And the obligation is bigger than what your personal emotional feelings are for this individual. The obligations in arranged situations usually affects people, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your children,
Mom,
etc.,
daddy,
nieces,
yeah.
nephew, etc., right? So divorce isn't really too much permitted because that marriage is the cornerstone of the family dynamic. Well, and as a side note, in studying all that, I think women always get the raw end of that deal. But anyway, so the issue in those situations are, well, I may not love this individual when we start out, but the reason we make it is because A, we're committed to the institution of which it represents, which is the family. And number two, you move from romance to more companionship.
Right.
And once you move towards companionship, that's when all the things you all are talking about, the individuals that are divorced say, hey, I wish I had done this. I wish I had done that. If we had more time, the time you took prior to your marriage. When you look at all of that stuff, those are some of the components, not all of them, but some of the components of companionship.
Right.
So you start out there. You know what I mean?
With an arranged marriage, you have to build that companionship first,
Yes.
and then the love comes as an after effect.
Yes.
But in the modern way of doing it, as far as like you said, getting married for love, we tend to rush into the marriage part
Yeah.
and not give that relationship enough time to build.
Yeah.
It's just but like you said, we've only been doing it for 180 years or so.
Excellent.
You know, so this, just like so many other things that human beings do, is new to us. We're figuring this shit out because being able to choose who I got married to, rather than that person being assigned to me, that's a big responsibility. Especially if you taking marriage at the face value of what it's supposed to be, which is supposed to be a lifelong commitment.
Sure.
You know, and I think we all agree we can start there as a base. But if marriage is supposed to be a lifelong commitment, and that's the goal, then honestly, you shouldn't be getting married if you just met somebody within a year. You know.
You know what I think the major problem with it is? I think the major problem with divorce in the Western hemisphere. What's the purpose of marriage towards which you've learned and been taught, or what you did it for? What's the purpose of it?
Really, it's for property rights.
Okay. Is that how you understood marriage when you got married? This is my property.
No.
How did you understand marriage when you got married?
When I got married, I was like I call it. I had that hyper romanticized view of marriage. So for me, it was like, you know, oh, this is gonna be, it's just gonna be floating on cloud nine. You know, puppies and popcorn all day, every day. You know,
Live in pussy.
He just high out.
Come on now, not right now.
How did you understand marriage when you first got married, man? Very first time.
To get married, just to get married and have this girl with me.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
I mean, I like I said, I got married for money the first time.
Sure.
My marriage was a contract wedding. It was a 2-year contract wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Once we got married, that's why I got married in Denmark. You know, both of our incomes went up because we worked for the government.
Sure.
And then as time would go, we would save so much. So then after 2 years, I never planned on leaving Europe. She had to go back. She was a military man. So I had told her, look, I never planned on going back. So, you know, but then as time went on, you know, I started to really like her. I mean, we had a lot of stuff in common, but there's certain things I hadn't known about her. Plus, we had our child. You know, for me, I didn't care whether if I was married or not. Because when it came time for us to divorce, it didn't matter to me. I'm still going to see my girl, my daughter. We don't have to be together because a lot of people use that excuse for not getting divorced because of the children. But I wasn't going to live miserably and let my daughter think that this is the way people are supposed to be when they're in a relationship.
I hear that a lot, Los, and I think that's also something we should talk about. The reason I asked if marriage was not an option, then separation would have been my alternative. A lot of people in the Western Hemisphere, we understand marriage for the reasons that you gave. In the East, and this is not just, you know, Asia, but, you know, like India, large part in Africa, or what have you.
On that side.
On that side, they understand, and some Southern, they understand marriage as the gateway for children. So with a lot of marriages that we have, we don't use marriage as the gateway to have children.
Right.
We usually use marriage as a means to legitimize the child that has already been created.
Right.
That's usually how we do it.
true.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right. It
And there
just
are a
it-
lot that go into it, like, okay, you know, getting married to start a family. Meaning I'm about to have children, but like
How often is
you
that?
know, that's been
Exactly.
that should have been
Over here.
It's been gone.
That was
That's the point I'm making.
Well,
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Right. That's the point I'm making.
So
So
that's what
I think if we reoriented our approach and understanding of marriage and what's really involved in the commitment of it, I think less people would be inclined to jump that broom, if you will. But to your point, you know why marriage is going down? For the same reason that birth rates are going down worldwide. Birth rates are going down so much worldwide, in particular in China. I think they just recently instituted the either 2 or 3 child rule.
Wow.
Like,
They cut it down to
it
just
was
one.
one.
That's it.
So now they're trying to go up, and they're saying also people are choosing, more people are choosing to not get married because now there's more emphasis on your career, more emphasis on me as an individual. I don't have to be defined as my attachment with some other individual or a child and that kind of stuff. So you're absolutely correct. Like the entire moral compass, and it's not this new generation. It started with us. It was even before us.
Right.
The moral compass has been slowly changing. So kind of like climate change, they've been saying this now since the 60s, the 50s.
And that's what this
And
girl
now-
was getting her stats like since 1960.
See what I
that's
mean?
when it started.
Now that we've been having this conversation for 50 years, 60 years, and we're looking at it like, oh damn, why is everywhere flooding? Well, we've been talking about it for a very long time. Well, same thing with our sense of morality, our moral compass. That's been changing. So if you look at where we are now, it shouldn't really be a surprise. To be honest
That's
with
what
you.
we're saying. It's like, okay, oh yeah, cool. I mean, that's some of the questions people ask now. You know, hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, hey, so how many times you been married?
Yeah.
4, 5, whatever. You know, it's like normal. It's like no big deal.
You know what really gets me about divorce? I'll put my water down 'cause this is true. This is really what I want to talk about, man. I mean this. And if anyone that is watching this show can please provide any insight, we got 10 minutes left, I believe. I would really love to hear your response on this. Leading up to this show, I interviewed a couple of individuals. And I interviewed individuals that have been married up to 5 times and divorced 5. And I interviewed individuals that had only been married once and divorced once. And I was looking for a common denominator in terms of the effect upon them. Now I have to admit and say this. I think when I did those when I did that research, if you will, I mean these were live interviews. Most of the interviews most of the people that I interviewed were women. So I think the results will be skewed because I don't know how it would apply to men. But whether it was 5 times or whether it was 1 time, man, I want y'all to really listen. There was a deep injury committed to their sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And it was so deep that when I would ask these individuals, how did that make you feel? It always ended up being something like this. Man, I just can't get it right.
I think me and you may have had this conversation at one point when I was telling you about how when I went through my divorce, part of the hardest thing that I struggled with is that I viewed myself as a failure because of it.
That's how they view it,
Right.
John.
I viewed, the way I looked at it was that I had been, no matter what the circumstances were,
Right.
I thought to myself that if I had just been more this, if I had just been more that, if I had just done things this way, then it would have worked out. Everything
Right.
would have just been okay.
Right.
But I didn't do that. I messed up, man. I did it wrong.
Right.
And so for a very long time after my divorce, I just felt like a waste of space, honestly.
Yeah. That's real. Thank you for being honest.
I mean, dude, that was one of the toughest periods of my life because the only thing that kept me going during that period was my kids, honestly. And so it was just one of those things where I was, that worthless feeling dominated everything. No matter what else was going on in my life, I was just like, my quiet places on the inside, I just felt like a loser.
Really? That's what they said, man.
That's funny because for me, I did not feel that way at all. I mean, I got married at 21 and was getting divorced at 23. For me, all I worried about was my daughter.
Right.
I want to be able to be with her and see her. Me and her, I don't give a damn. I'm not worried. I don't feel more. Maybe I should have known better. Maybe that's the feeling I was having.
Maybe
I
so.
should have known better because again, it was only 3 years, couple of years, so I could have been like, I should have not did that.
So y'all married?
When I was married, like I'm saying, once I'm like he said, you feel like man, I did something wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way. I felt like all I worried about was my daughter. I didn't care. I didn't feel like I was a failure. I felt more like, damn, I should have not did this shit. But it's too late now because I have this kid. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm gonna focus on this child and move from there. I'll be a single dad when I can. No big, and I did it. And here I am. So I did not feel that sense of worthlessness. I just because it was such a. I can see maybe after 14 years, maybe I might have felt something. Did I do something wrong? But in this case, it was just we just weren't getting along. It was like I'm not trying to be with someone I can't get along
But
with.
you've been married twice.
This is my second time. Yeah,
How many times have you been married?
Just once.
Right. So, see, and how long were you married?
like 3 years, 3.5 years.
How long were you married?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Different story.
So not only do you have to deal with those kind of emotions in terms of length, but you also have to deal with those emotions if it becomes chronic. So it's like, bam, this one didn't work, try again. Bam, bam, it didn't work, let me try it again. Bam, bam, it didn't work, try
Then I
again.
can
Bam,
make
bam, it
felt
didn't work,
something,
try
yeah.
again. Bam, bam.
Right.
You can't do nothing but internalize those emotions, as to say, and that's not to say you deserve it and that you should be associating yourself with those feelings. I am interested in how do you work through those kinds of feelings? What were you feeling? If you can, please call in. We still have time, guys. The number's at the bottom of the screen. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Until then, we're going to have to listen to this smart, handsome young gentleman talk or what have you. This man over here with his high self.
I can't now though. I've
But-
been married now, what, 4 years?
We have to say, Joyce says, I never felt like a failure because I put in 100%. And once you know that you have done all you can do and it still isn't working, failure was never a thought. Looks like only relief. Okay, only relief.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's a whole other way of looking at it.
yeah, and I spoke with an individual that had those feelings
Yeah.
for the second marriage,
Not the
but not the first one,
interesting.
not the fourth one. And as a matter of fact, it was always, okay, there was a situation where this individual, it was something out of their control. And even then, that's when they took your stance. They would say, man, I should have known better, or I should have saw that, or I should have calculated for that.
Right.
But the number of calculations are infinite. So you never could have given that any consideration, what hit you from the blind side. But when you do it multiple times. Like me personally, I'm a serial monogamous. I am big time.
We ain't
But-
scaring you away from marriage, right?
No. That's already been done. That's already been done.
Marriage.
That's already been
You know,
done,
watch
Flair.
the show like,
This is the God to honest truth. I am frightened of marriage, but not for the reasons you might think. I am frightened for marriage for the reasons of what would make a marriage work. I don't want to lose my individuality, and that's the first thing that has to go. You cannot be selfish. It cannot be about you. And I am too selfish. I am too about me to enter something like that. And I think once I dealt with absolution of myself, to kill myself, I think I'd be a prime candidate for it. But right now, I'm good. Huh?
Can't have kids either.
I haven't had
So
kids.
if you
I
feel
haven't
the
had
same way,
kids.
you can't have kids because
For that
it's not
reason.
about you no more.
Yeah, exactly. For that. Now, don't make no mistake about it. If I had children, that would be different. That's a game changer for me. But again, for
Phone's
me,
ringing?
is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
we got somebody else. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm glad we got off of me. I'm glad.
What's up? Sister Leah, what's up?
Oh, me, Ron, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Leave it. You're on the People's Podcast. This is about you. This is your show right now. Go
Oh,
ahead.
y'all.
No, he knows mine. I'm nervous, and I don't know that I'm ready to do this, but I can give it a shot.
Okay.
We appreciate that.
All right, Ron, you gotta ask questions, though, man. I can't.
Got 3 minutes.
So, well,
Knock
I
it
mean,
out.
you asked people to call in, and you were referring to some things that you had asked. So, what questions do you have that I can try to answer?
What were your primary feelings when you were divorced? What were you feeling, and how did you work through it?
Most of them cost me a lot of money, a lot of psychologists, a lot of medication. I had 3 nervous breakdowns. A lot of self-destruction, a lot of feeling of self-worthlessness. I failed. Nobody was going to love me, so each time that someone did show interest in me, it was, and it wasn't every time. Don't get me wrong, because Ron even knows I was in a place for a very long time of, hell no, you're not going to get that far with me. I'm done with that. And it was because I felt like I had failed so many times, and it was because I felt like I feel like I changed people. I don't know like what it is about me, but in every relationship that I had, it was, whether or not it was abuse in some form or fashion, whether it was, verbal or cheating or physical, sometimes all the above, or there's something about me. I'm the common denominator, whether I choose incorrectly or I was trying to self-destruct or I mean there's a common denominator, so it's got to be me, right? So how do I change these people? The men seem like they're honest and they're hardworking and they're loving and they're caring and they're compassionate, and then we move in together or we get married and move in together, and then it comes to there's some form of major addiction, and then the lies and then the cheating, and then they quit working, and then I'm the only one working and supporting the household, and it's like it would be okay if it was just 1 or 2. But 5? So then you have to look at yourself. And then you are a failure because you are the common denominator. Well, what about me makes other people change like that? Or am I really just blind and choosing the same people?
Well,
So you're still working through some of it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. No, go ahead. we're probably out of time, but
No, I was just gonna say, because in a situation like that, honestly, I would have to err on the side of it being you maybe just having the bad luck of being a bad chooser, because honestly, you can't change someone. You know, that person is who they are, you know, or are gonna be who they're gonna be. Your presence may speed up or slow down certain transitions in their life, or even, you know, just given life circumstances can speed it up or slow it down. But if that person was already on that path, they were on that path. You just may not have the discernment, or may not have had the discernment to be able to see that. And that, if that's your worst failing, then you're okay. You just have to learn how to choose better, you know. But I would find it hard to believe that you would be some great catalyst for change in another grown individual that's so powerful that you would turn people sour.
Now, I would say that in some cases, I think some people do change or make that person change. And then once that person realizes they're not them anymore, that's when the divorce shit happens. Because they realize, fuck, this ain't me. What the hell am I doing? I need this woman to change me or some bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Or I let this man change me.
That's y'all question. See, whenever we have really good episodes like this in the past, we used to go over time.
Right.
Since we can't do that,
Part
Leah,
2 coming up.
exactly, Leah, viewers,
Yeah.
would you all, before you hang up, and if you're watching right now, just type it in briefly on the screen.
Chat.
Would you all be willing to have a part 2 to this?
Get into the different aspects of divorce.
Because I think we still got a lot to talk about.
I think you should, personally.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Appreciate you, Leah.
Anybody else?
Thank
Anybody
you for
else?
calling.
You know.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
You
All
too.
right,
Thank
thank
you so
you.
much. That was really big of you. Thank
Yes,
you so
thank
much.
We appreciate that
That
so
was
much.
big of everyone that actually
Everybody.
put their heart out there
That's,
like
man,
that.
even the
tonight. Thank you
comments
all
and
so
everything,
much.
man.
Thank you.
This is what you guys are listening.
Because Danessa made a comment too that I wanted to address, because she was pushing back on you a little bit,
I'm not
Ron.
worried about her at all.
Don't be mad at it. Don't be mad at her, Danessa. You leave her alone.
At
You leave her
all.
alone.
She was born in December.
Before we go, though, make sure everybody on there, come on now. We got a lot of people watching us live right now. Hit that like button. Hit that.
Please hit the like button.
That like button. Thank you all for watching. But yeah, you taking us out?
No, I
You
transitioned.
taking us out? I'm taking us out.
Yeah,
I'm
man, I
taking
told
us
you.
out.
Huh?
I'm taking us out. On my high?
Yes.
That went over the time. See, that messed me
Whatever.
up, right? Because I be on schedule, and when y'all go over the time, I forget what I'm supposed to do.
We got a part 2
Yeah, that's
coming
it.
up.
We will have a part
Tonight.
2.
I'll
Just
schedule it
go
tonight.
to the website, www.dailysmoke.com, THA, and find out when that episode will be airing, and also anything else. If you want to be here during that show, let
Yes.
us know on there.
Good
Comment.
job.
If you want to, sit here and talk with us and let the audience, instead of calling in, come here.
You
If
can
wanna
cry
be
with
part-
Jonathan.
If you want to be part of the studio audience that day of that next, come on down. Let us know on the website, the part where it says "Have you experience,"
Oh, yeah.
and we will make arrangements for you to be here, part of the show. Either way, though, thank you all so much. Don't forget Cash App. $TD Smoke. We need that cash, because if y'all do come here, I got to feed y'all and get y'all breaks and stuff. That's how we do. But we'll need some help with that. But yeah, $TD Smoke, Cash App. All much love for your support. I'm Brother Los.
I'm Brother Jam.
I'm Brother Ron.
We're back in.
Brother Black Hand on the can back there. We're the Daily Smoke. We're out. Peace.
Peace.
Bye, Daddy.